Alright, pproteus is back for round number 3. I'm on the draw. No idea what my opponent's doing. So this hand has some obvious flaws, but has the combo of Estimator plus Hunger, has the combo of Burden to Adversary plus 2-drop, and has a 1 to turn on turn 1, which is actually good, even if I don't draw a land. So I think I can keep it. I don't really like mulliganing in the dark, because there are lots of matchups where mulliganing is just bad. And so as long as I have a hand with a plan. Now, of course, my opponent turn 1 bolts my pit skulk, and then I don't draw a second land, and I'm sad. But as soon as I do draw a second land, then I get to play 2 2/2s. So I should be okay. Paul mulligans a 4. That's good for me. So this hand's below average, but it definitely does stuff. Opponent is unhappy with the draw, understandable. Opponent says thinking about to concede. To not give me information. I would appreciate not appreciate them conceding. I applaud that style of play. I think it's often correct. You see that you're playing against an aggressive deck. I'm all against 4, and then have a hand that can't do anything. Oh, look at that. Opponent decided to play. And they're on Affinity. I really like the Affinity matchup. I'm very confident with it. Definitely one of the best matchups for Stompy. And Stompy doesn't have polarized matchups, but Affinity is one where my game plan just works against my opponent's game plan, and then I have hard-hitting sideboard cards. So that's why my opponent was thinking about conceding so much, because they thought, you know, this guy might have like 4 pieces of artifact hate in their sideboard, and then they can bring in their Kirkland Shamans against me, and I have nothing to bring in against them. Bone Splitter. Bone Splitter is an interesting choice in Affinity. I want to use Hunger while my opponent is tapped out. So I think I'm going to Rancor the Pit Skulk, so the Pit Skulk can attack, then attack with everybody, and then Hunger onto the thing that my opponent blocks. I'm not trying to push damage. I'm trying to cost my opponent mana. My opponent invested mana into this Bone Splitter, and if I kill the Frogmite, they're going to lose Affinity, and they're... Okay, so opponent doesn't block. That means that they really value the Frogmite, which makes me not want to cast the Hunger. Now my opponent could like leave up Galblast and I'd regret it, but getting to activate the Pit Skulk is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. They're just short on colored mana, so I really doubt they can just pass the turn leaving up Galvanic Blast. And they definitely don't know that I have the Galvanic Blast, so, or that I have a Hunger. Leaving up anything is risky when you only have one spell in your hand. Alright, so I'm working through my opponent's cards here. Kyrion's a good one. I think I'm just going to cast that pre-combat. And then put another Rancor on that Pit Skulk over there. That Pit Skulk now has 5 power, it can't be blocked. And then I'm going to get my opponent with Hunger at instant speed in the middle of combat. And this is 11, so opponent has to block this time. Alright, so I think I cast Hunger onto the Pit Skulk. And that puts my opponent dead no matter what, basically. I can't think of anything my opponent could draw that would save them from this. So this looks solid. Opponent now has no creatures. I have 2 5-power creatures, and I can kill them even if they have a Galvanic Blast. Ancient 10. So, gut shots out, mutagenic growth out. I have 4 pieces of artifact removal to bring in. And what? And what? Let's see here. How do I want a sideboard? I forget. I have slightly changed everything. Maybe I side out like a Vault Scourge or a Nest Invader or a Hunger. I'm going to side out a Vault Scourge. That's probably fine. I kept in the Epic Confrontation. The card's a bit sketchy, but you could be surprised. This hand obviously doesn't do anything. This hand I have to keep, but it's bad. Sure. Alright, so let's see how well my opponent can interact with me. Alright. That's playing into my hands here, because I don't want to cast Gleeful Sabotage yet. Okay, Frogwind not so much. Maybe I can draw Burning Tree Emissary here. Yeah, I'm going to do it. My hand doesn't really do anything, so I need the tempo. See if I get Gal Blasted in response. Alright, so I'm going to blow up the Frogmite. And the Springleaf Drum. Maybe I should have blown up like Springleaf plus Prof. That's another option, but I feel like I just need to keep my opponent's creatures off the board so I have a clock. I just have to race. I played enough of this matchup that I'm kind of on autopilot. This is just what works out. Alright, so my opponent decided to Galvanic Blast my Nettle Sentinel after I conspired the Gleeful Sabotage. And now they're playing a 4-4. This is pretty awkward. Like, if they have another Galvanic Blast, then they get me here. But, like, imagine that they don't. Imagine that they do, right? Like, am I ever going to win that game? I think I like my chances. I can probably do the math afterwards. I think I like my odds here. My opponent would probably just Galvanic Blast more aggressively if they had multiple Galvanic Blasts in their hand, so I don't think they have that. Alright, they didn't. Yeah, so I mean, you can do the math for that if you want. You can say, what's the probability that I win the game if they have it, and if I cast it, and if I don't, what's the probability I win the game if they don't have it, if I cast it, and if I don't? I could probably come, oh, they just top decked it, that's crazy. Or maybe they thought I was gonna bind them in response. I'm just gonna do nothing. Okay, carrying's not bad. I need to hope that I draw something good before my opponent does, but that's usually the case. I will not Vines if my opponent Galvanic Blasts that. I don't know why they would do that. Alright, so do they have a creature? They don't. That was a good draw. Alright, here's a pit skulk. And then another pit skulk, and they're both active. So that's why I was waiting, of course, because I know that 1/1 pit skulks are just not good against Affinity, but 2/2 pit skulks are pretty fine. I will definitely trade if my opponent attacks. If my opponent equips and attacks, I will double block because I can bind in response to Gal Blast, and that will be hilarious. Okay. A card I'm thinking about now is their Karkflon Shaman, but I don't think I can actually beat it. I think if my opponent just goes Shaman and then sacks everything to it. Oh, look at that. I was thinking about the right thing. So I was actually thinking about that last turn before I made my play, but keeping these guys in hand doesn't actually do anything, and sacking, like casting vines in response, also doesn't do anything. Actually, that's not true. So if they're just doing this for one, then well, the first one will kill the shaman, and then after that I can cast vines. My opponent is letting me click OK here, so I guess the shaman's dead. Okay. I think my opponent didn't mean to do that. I think that was an accident and they meant to hold priority and sack 2 things. Wonder if my opponent will tell me in the chat. Opponent installed again today. So I'm going to leave up double kicked vines. Not like my opponent's gonna mind rot me or anything. That'd be funny, playing De Novo Horror in Affinity. Uh-oh. Alright, there's an ATOG. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 13 power on the ATOG. Hey, Ranker. Alright, I'm going to cast the Ranker. So, if my opponent wants to survive after I cast 1 Vines, they have to sacrifice 4 things. That's pretty rough for them. I think I want to wait 1 more turn before I do it. Because my opponent probably is going to sacrifice 4 things. And then it survives. And then my opponent's got like, they have like Tree of Tails Great Furnace left. But if I wait 1 turn, then I can double kick Vines. Of course, my opponent can now draw Galvanic Blast. Or Fling. Because if my opponent has Galvanic Blast, then they would cast it in response to the Vines, I think. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just totally blow me out. But here, now I've got Riverbow, I can just do nothing. So Riverbow is pretty nice. Does my opponent block? No, I guess they don't. Alright. Here's Riverbow. My opponent could Galvanic Blast the Riverbow, I'd regenerate, untap, Fling, kill me. But that's not going to happen. I guess they have to do that. Alright, thank you for showing me your land. It makes sense because they want to use it to defend the ATOG. I will play my 5th land here, because I want to be able to regenerate Riverbow and then kick Vines twice. I would be much happier if my opponent trades, and then I don't have to be afraid of dying to Fling. Like, if my opponent's hand is a land, they just play the land and Fling kill me. I could have thought about casting Vines there, but the problem is, I really want to play around Galvanic Blast. And I guess if they had a Galvanic Blast, that they would draw it, but I think I'm quite a bit ahead in this game, and so I want to defend myself against my opponent top decking something like that. So here I, in theory, have lethal, but my opponent has 2 cards in their hand. Epic Confrontation looking not so exciting right now. I regret setting this in, or not setting it out. I just didn't think about it. I forgot that I had the card in my main deck. So I'm going to repeat. I feel fine because I have double Vines. Alright. In comes Galvanic Blast. Oh, no. They're... It's kind of interesting. Okay. I'm going to cast this Vines when they don't have red floating. Are they going to Fling kill me? Wait a minute. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No, they can't fling kill me. But why do they have fling mana in the mana pool? What was that all about? Alright, so I cast Vines here, force my opponent to sacrifice another 2 things if they want to live. My opponent can Galvanic Blast, but then I have Vines in response, and they can't double Galvanic Blast, so I feel safe. And they can't, like, Galvanic Blast plus Metallic Rebuke. And then, if they trade, I'm okay with that. Next turn, I put the Rancor on the River Boa, and then the River Boa causes some serious problems. Why is my opponent... Why are they doing it in this order? It's kind of odd. I mean, I could cast Vines again. Could my opponent have anything that's really bad here? They could have Temur Battle Rage. That's something I would not want to play against, or would not want my opponent to have. Where if I Vines, then they can sack Pauper some Tree of Tails, and the Temur Battle Rage. And no, that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm doing it. I'm gonna cast Vines. Show me what you have, opponent. Alright. Atog is very big. Atog, you eat my River Boa. Alright, you succeeded. Or my Pit Skulk. You got me. Alright, so I'm not afraid of fling anymore. Here's my Rancor on the River Boa. I in fact think I keep Epic Confrontation in my hand because they can't really do anything about Rancor on River Boa. They can't kill me. Right? Maybe they can. Wait a minute. That'll be very embarrassing. They can go 7. No, I'm not going to die. It's just 7. Unless they have free artifacts. Opponent's casting Carapace Forger, probably. Yeah. So my River Boa is going to eat the Carapace Forger. Just confront it epically. I wonder how my opponent's going to block. Should be pretty interesting. Because if I just have mutagenic growth, they die if they don't block. But then, do they want to give up a creature for nothing? Yeah, looks like they do, in fact, want to give up a creature for nothing. So, what can my opponent have that will be good? They could have land plus Fling or Battle Rage. That would be 9 on the ATOG. So that would kill me. Yeah, so I should probably just confront. Make sure I've got my bases covered. It's going to be hard to lose. Play the land. So I've got the regeneration shield on the riverbow, just trying to make sure I don't screw this up and kill my creature. Kill their ATOG unless they sacrifice 2 artifacts. They did not sacrifice 2 artifacts. Okay, now I'm going to do nothing to play around Crocodile Shaman instead of playing out all my guys. Because this River Boa, where my opponent has 2 relevant cards, is just going to be really hard to lose with. So I'm just not going to play into Crocodile Shaman if I don't need to. And they would have chumped here anyways, and it didn't matter. I could cast Gleeful Sabotage, but I probably don't want to. There's not much point. I guess Gear Seeker is something that could go wrong for me. So if my opponent goes land, then they have then they have 6 artifacts. No, but they can't. They need double blue to cast Gear Seeker. I think Gear Seeker is the only thing that can actually kill me, except for Crocodile Shaman, which would just make me sacrifice. It would make them sacrifice N+1 things, or as the amount of mana I have open. I'm going to cast Gleeful Sabotage targeting Prophetic Prism. Oh, but they could also just have... If they have Mirror Forcer, they play land, they have 5 things, because I've killed their Prophetic Prism, and they have Mirror Forcer, then Mirror Forcer costs 2. Alright, change my mind. I should probably play the Nails Have Null because... No, if I Gleeful Sabotage the Prophetic Prism, and then they go land, Carapace Forger, equip Flyer Husk, then I'm going to wish I had Nails Have Null. So that sounds reasonable enough that I should definitely play Nails Have Null here. Probably should have played it last turn. Alright, so I'm going to play Nails Have Null, do a Gleeful Sabotage the Prophetic Prism. Not anymore. I'm not really playing around anything anymore by doing that. Unless I think my opponent has Galvanic Blast. They did just cast the ATOG, or the Thought Cast, off the Prophetic Prism, so they could have Galvanic Blast. And then they could untap and well, they can't have both of those things. They can't have land Carapace Forger and or Gear Seeker and the Galvanic Blast. So let's see if my opponent has anything here. Crocodile Shaman would save them, although decimate their board. Alright, maybe I'm overthinking. I was probably overthinking last turn. When I didn't play the Nile Sentinel. See you in round 4.